students, I Rajeshwari Shirkanhalli welcome you all in Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School channel. We are discussing chapter number 14, Natural Resources. We have seen that air, water, soil, these are some of the important natural resources. In the last lecture we have discussed about soil, which is one of very important natural resource. We have seen about soil formation, then we have discussed about need of soil for living organisms. After that we have discussed about soil pollution and soil erosion. We have also seen the preventive measures to prevent soil erosion, means what we should do to prevent the soil erosion. Now today we will discuss about different cycles available in nature. So these are called as biogeochemical cycles. Why the name is given biogeochemical? Because these cycles are dependent on the biological factors, on the geology of the earth and on the chemical factors. So let us discuss about biogeochemical cycles. What are biogeochemical cycles? There is a constant interaction between the biotic and abiotic components of the biosphere. It makes it dynamic but stable system. Biotic factors or biotic components means all the living organisms, in which we can include plants, animals and microorganisms. And abiotic components means non-living components like air, water, soil, rocks and so on. So there is a constant interaction in between these both the components, biotic and abiotic, of the biosphere, and because of this interaction the biosphere becomes very dynamic, but it is a stable system as they are dependent on each other. These interactions consist of a transfer of matter and energy between the different components of the biosphere. So different components of the biosphere get matter and energy because of these interactions. Now let us discuss about different biogeochemical cycles. The first one is a very familiar cycle to you all, that is the water cycle. What is the water cycle? There is a constant exchange of water between air, land, ocean and the living organisms. So water gets exchanged continuously in between air to land, land to ocean and ocean to the living organisms, or vice versa in any order, but there is a exchange of water in between any of these factors. The whole process by which water evaporates and falls on the land as rain and later flows back into the sea via rivers is called the water cycle. What is the water cycle? It is the process by which first the water gets evaporated from the different water reservoirs, and then again after so many phenomena, after so many processes, it falls back on the land in the form of rain, and rainwater flows back to the sea via rivers. It is called as water cycle. All the water that falls on the land does not immediately flows back into the sea. Whatever the water falls on the land in the form of rain, it does not get mixed to the sea immediately. Some of it seeps into the soil. So percolation of the water takes place in the soil and becomes the part of underground reservoir of fresh water. So water is available underground also. So there are underground reservoirs of fresh water. How they are formed? Because of seepage of rainwater. So rainwater gets seeped into the soil and gets collected below the soil and forms underground reservoir of fresh water. Some of this underground water comes up to the surface through springs or through wells or tube wells made by us for use. Then whatever this underground water is there, that is used in different forms. It is taken out in the form of either springs or by digging the wells, or even tube wells are used for using the underground water. Water is also released by plants through the process of transpiration into the atmosphere. You know what is meant by transpiration. Especially the tall trees undergo transpiration. They lose water in the form of water vapor. That is called as transpiration. So, water gets released by the plants through the process of transpiration into the atmosphere. So, here you can see in this picture water cycle is shown. Here you can see this is groundwater and this is surface water. Surface water means either in the form of river, sea, ocean, etc. There are different phenomena shown here. Evaporation of this surface water takes place. It forms clouds. Similarly, the trees undergo transpiration, and animals, when they undergo respiration, means during the exhalation, when carbon dioxide is given out, along with that some water vapor is also released in the air. So, because of evaporation of water from the different water reservoirs, because of transpiration from trees and because of respiration from animals, water gets collected in the air, dust particles get mixed with those water vapor and they form the clouds. Then from clouds rain is occurred. So, when clouds undergo condensation, they fall down in the form of rain. So, this is what happens in the water cycle. Now, water during the water cycle flows through over rocks containing soluble minerals. Some of these minerals get dissolved in the water. So, what happens during the water cycle? When water flows through or over the rocks containing soluble minerals, these minerals get dissolved in the water. That means the flowing water carry the minerals with it. Thus, that flowing water when mixes with the river, rivers get nutrients in the form of those soluble minerals. Thus, rivers carry many nutrients from the land to the sea. So, the soluble minerals means different nutrients which are available in the land get mixed with the rainwater. They go to the river, and from river they get mixed with the sea water. These nutrients are then used by marine organisms. So, the organisms which live in the sea water, they are called as marine organisms. They utilize these nutrients. From where these nutrients come actually? They come from rivers. And how do the rivers get nutrients? From lands. Who carry these nutrients from lands to rivers? The flowing water. So, in this way the nutrients available in the land finally go to the sea and get absorbed by the marine organisms. Now, water can be seen in water cycle in all the three different states. You know that water is available in three states. When it is in the solid state, it is called as ice. In the liquid state, water. In the gaseous state, it is called as water vapor. So, during the water cycle, all these three states of water are present. They are seen. First, let us see what is gaseous state. Gaseous state means, as I have told, it is water vapor. So, gaseous state of water means it occurs in the form of water vapors formed by the evaporation of water from the surface of water bodies and air. So, when water gets evaporated from the surface of water bodies means different water reservoirs from where the water gets evaporated due to the heat of the sun, and similarly from the air water vapors are formed. Second one is liquid state. Water vapors condense high up in the atmosphere and falls on the earth in the form of rain. So, water vapors are present in the atmosphere, they form the clouds, and when they get condensed, these water vapors, condensed means they turn into liquid state again. So, they fall down on the earth in the form of rain. So, that is the liquid state of water cycle. And solid state means it is formed by freezing of liquid droplets in the upper layer of the atmosphere. So, the liquid droplets of water get frozen in the upper layer of the atmosphere and they fall on the earth in the form of snow. So, the three states of water in the water cycle are gaseous state, that is in the form of water vapor, liquid state, that is in the form of rain, and solid state, that is in the form of snow. So, water is available in all the three states in water cycle. Now, after discussing about water cycle, next move to the next cycle, the nitrogen cycle. Let us see what is nitrogen cycle and how it is important for the different biotic and abiotic factors. What is nitrogen cycle? It is the cyclic process by which nitrogen passes from its elemental form present in the atmosphere into the simple molecules in the soil. What is nitrogen cycle? It is the cyclic process. It happens in a cyclic way. So, what happens in this exactly? Nitrogen passes from its elemental form, means nitrogen element which is present in the atmosphere, it gets converted into simple nitrogenous compounds, into simple molecules in the water and soil that can enter the living beings and form complex molecules in them. So, the elemental nitrogen present in the atmosphere gets converted finally into complex molecules. These complex molecules are then broken down again to release nitrogen back into the atmosphere. So, it consists of both the ways, that is taking nitrogen from the atmosphere and forming its compounds and breaking of these compounds and releasing back the nitrogen into the atmosphere. As you know that our atmosphere contains 78% of nitrogen gas. It is present in all living organisms as structural components in the form of proteins, amino acids, nucleic acids, that is in the form of DNA and RNA, and some vitamins. Means these all are made up of nitrogen. Proteins, as you know, it is important for living organisms. Similarly, amino acids. Nucleic acids are of two types, DNA and RNA. What is DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA means ribonucleic acid, and some vitamins. All these are made up of nitrogen. It is also found as a constituent in other compounds such as alkaloids and urea. So, alkaloids and urea, these chemical compounds also consist of nitrogen. So, nitrogen is very, very important. Now, let us discuss about important steps in nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen cycle involves the following important steps. There are in all 5 important steps are there. They are nitrogen fixation, second one is nitrogen assimilation, third one is ammonification, fourth is nitrification, and fifth is denitrification. So, let us discuss all these steps one by one. First one is nitrogen fixation. What is nitrogen fixation? It is fixing of nitrogen. Fixing of nitrogen means whatever nitrogen is available in the atmosphere, trapping that nitrogen and forming its compounds, nitrogenous compounds. So, let us discuss about nitrogen fixation in detail. It is the process of converting atmospheric nitrogen into water soluble nitrates and nitrites. So, water soluble nitrates and nitrites are formed from the nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere. So, the nitrogen from the atmosphere gets converted into its compounds. Which compounds? Nitrates and nitrites. They are soluble in water. But how it happens? It is done by nitrogen fixing bacteria that may be free living. Examples of these free living nitrogen fixing bacteria are Azotobacter and Clostridium. So, these are the bacteria which are very useful in nitrogen fixation, and they found in the free state, means they are free living. Similarly, some nitrogen fixing bacteria are symbiotic. Symbiotic means they are not free living, they are dependent on some other living thing for getting some benefit. Symbiotic association means actually these bacteria are found in the roots of leguminous plants and they help each other. Leguminous plants help these bacteria to get the nutrients, and in return these bacteria help the roots of leguminous plants to get nitrogen. So, that is called as symbiotic association or symbiotic relationship. Example of the bacteria which live in this way is Rhizobium. Rhizobium, as you all know, it lives in the roots of leguminous plants. Then blue-green algae. Blue-green algae also do the process of nitrogen fixation. Example of this blue-green algae is Cyanobacteria. So, whether the bacteria is free living or it is in the symbiotic relationship or it is in the form of blue-green algae, all these type of bacteria are useful for carrying out the process of nitrogen fixation. Now, what happens here? Most commonly the nitrogen fixing bacteria are found in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Leguminous plants means seed bearing pods, means these are the plants which have pods, and when you open them, inside you find the seeds. Examples of these leguminous plants are cereals, different cereals, then peas, beans, etc. So, in the roots nodules of these leguminous plants we find nitrogen fixing bacteria. Atmospheric nitrogen can also be converted into soluble nitrates and nitrites by physical process. So, the nitrogen available in the atmosphere can be converted into nitrates and nitrites by physical processes also. Which are these physical processes? Lightning, during which the high temperature and pressure created in the air convert nitrogen into oxides of nitrogen. So, during the lightning what happens? High temperature and pressure gets created in the air, and because of this high pressure and temperature, the nitrogen in the air gets converted into oxides of nitrogen. So, in this way also nitrogen fixation takes place. Nitrogen fixation takes place by bacteria which are living things, and it also takes place by abiotic factors like one of the physical process, that is lightning, during which temperature and pressure increases a lot. Now, these get dissolved in water to give nitric and nitrous acids. So, when nitrates and nitrites, as they are soluble in water, when they get dissolved in the water, they form nitrates and nitrites, and finally, when they dissolve in water, they form nitric acid and nitrous acid, which fall on the land along with rain. So, this is nothing but the acid rain. What is acid rain? The rain which is having nitric acid and nitrous acid. These are then utilized by various life forms. The next step is nitrogen assimilation. Let us see what is nitrogen assimilation. It is carried out by plants. Plants absorb nitrate and nitrites and they form amino acids which are used for making proteins. So, proteins are required, proteins are synthesized with the help of amino acids, and amino acids are formed by absorbing nitrates and nitrites by the plants. Other complex compounds containing nitrogen are formed in other biochemical pathways. So, different biochemical pathways are used during which other complex compounds containing nitrogen are formed. Animals can take organic nitrogen from plants directly or indirectly. Herbivorous animals, as they feed on the plants, they use this organic nitrogen directly, and carnivorous animals, they feed on herbivorous animals which have the organic nitrogen, means these carnivorous animals they take the organic nitrogen indirectly. The next process after nitrogen assimilation is ammonification. Let us discuss what is ammonification. It is the process of production of ammonia. Ammonification means production of ammonia. It is done either by the decomposition or breakdown of dead plants and animals or complex organic matter. So, how ammonia is produced? It is produced by the decomposition or breakdown of dead plants and animals or complex organic matter. Both the processes are carried out by microorganisms living in the soil. Which microorganisms are responsible for ammonification? Especially fungi and bacteria. So, this is the next process, that is ammonification. Ammonification means production of ammonia. Next is nitrification. Let us see what is nitrification. It is the process of conversion of ammonia into nitrites and then into nitrates. What is nitrification? First, nitrites are formed and then they get converted into nitrates from ammonia. For this, again a bacteria are used. So, it is a nitrifying bacteria, example Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. So, the nitrifying bacteria like Nitrosomonas or Nitrobacter convert ammonia into first nitrites and then into nitrates. That is what called as nitrification. And the last step in the nitrogen cycle is denitrification. What is denitrification? It is the process of reducing nitrates or ammonia, means nitrates or ammonia undergo reduction process present in the soil to molecular nitrogen. So, whatever ammonia is present in the soil, it undergo reduction and it forms molecular nitrogen N2 that gets back into the atmosphere. Means from nitrogenous compound, again nitrogen gas is released into the atmosphere, that is called as denitrification. It is done by microorganisms such as Pseudomonas. So, these are the different steps in the nitrogen cycle. Now, you can see the nitrogen cycle in this figure. This is the nitrogen in atmosphere which get fixed, that is called as nitrogen fixation by the green plants in the protoplasm. Then the process of ammonification occurs and ammonia is produced. Similarly, from green plants it goes to the animals in their protoplasm, from there also ammonia is produced. Now, this ammonia form nitrites, then nitrates. In this cycle the nitrogen gets moved. The other way is when this nitrogen fixation is done by the green plants, nitrification also occurs. How nitrification occurs? From the nitrogen in the atmosphere through atmospheric and industrial fixation, then it form nitrates which undergo denitrification and again nitrogen is released back into the atmosphere. So, here you can see two forms. First, From this nitrogen in the atmosphere, nitrogen fixation takes place, plants get nitrogenous compounds, it goes to the animals also, and directly ammonification is also occurred, and in both the ways, that is by the process of ammonification from the green plants and from the animals, it forms ammonia, from ammonia nitrites, then nitrates, again back to the green plants. So, that is one thing. The second one is nitrogen in the atmosphere undergo nitrification, which is done by atmospheric and industrial fixation, and it undergoes nitrification and forms nitrates, which undergo denitrification and form nitrogen in the atmosphere. So, this is the nitrogen cycle in nature. Now, let us discuss about importance of nitrogen fixation. Most of the living organisms are unable to use atmospheric nitrogen directly. Okay, so, as nitrogen is present in the air, but most of the living organisms cannot utilize that atmospheric nitrogen. So, nitrogen fixation is must for them. The process of nitrogen fixation converts this atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia and nitrate, which can be easily taken up and assimilated by the plants. So, during the process of nitrogen fixation, what happens? The atmospheric nitrogen is converted into ammonia and nitrate. This ammonia and nitrate can be very easily taken up by the plants and they absorb these nitrogenous compounds. So, it get assimilated by the plants. Then plants convert this nitrate into amino acids, proteins and other nitrogenous compounds. Then once plants use this ammonia and nitrates, what they do? They convert this nitrate into amino acids. Similarly, amino acids are used for synthesizing protein and other nitrogenous compounds are formed in the plants. In the absence of nitrogen fixation process, these substances which are necessary for structural and functional growth of organisms will not be formed. So, if suppose there is no such nitrogen fixation process, then what happens? The substances which are necessary for structural and functional growth of organisms will not be formed. Means organisms cannot grow properly, they cannot function properly in the absence of nitrogen fixation process. So, nitrogen cycle maintains the overall amount of nitrogen in the air, soil and water. So, today we have discussed about different biogeochemical cycles. What are biogeochemical cycles? These are the some cycles which are available in nature. So, in that we have discussed about water cycle. Water cycle is must for the availability of water on the earth. Water is available on the earth as surface water as well as underground water. But this water is available only because of water cycle. So, what is water cycle? Water from water reservoirs get heated due to the heat of sun. This water gets converted into water vapor due to the evaporation. Then they go in the air, in the upper layer, dust particles attract, they form the clouds. When they undergo condensation, they fall back in the form of rain. We have seen that during water cycle, water is present in all the three states. They are present in solid state, liquid state as well as gaseous state. In the gaseous state, water is available in the form of water vapor. Means when water gets evaporated, it forms water vapor in the air. So, that is the gaseous state of water. Then liquid state means in the form of rain. Water falls down in the form of rain, which is in the liquid state. And solid state means it is found in the form of snow. Sometimes we find in the cold regions snowfall occurs. So, this is because of freezing of the water droplets in the atmosphere at the very high level. Then it forms snow. So, water is available in all the three states of matter. We have also seen that water is very important for all the life forms. After that, the next cycle we have discussed today is nitrogen cycle, which is very important. We have seen that in the nitrogen cycle, whatever the nitrogen is available in the atmosphere is not possible for all the living organism to utilize, but because of nitrogen cycle, nitrogen is available to each and every living organisms. So, nitrogen fixation takes place, nitrogen gets absorbed by the certain bacteria, some of them are free living, some of them live in the symbiotic relationship, and some are found in the form of blue-green algae. So, they form the nitrogenous compounds, and these are utilized by different plants, animals. There are different steps available in the nitrogen cycle, nitrogen fixation, then nitrogen assimilation, and then ammonification, then nitrification, at last denitrification. Denitrification is the last process through which nitrogenous compounds can be converted back into the nitrogen molecules which are released into the atmosphere. Means in that way, whatever that 78% of the nitrogen is there, that remains constant. So, it is very important cycle, biogeochemical cycle. In the next lecture, we will discuss about some other biogeochemical cycles. So, today here we will stop. Just note down the important points, draw the figures of water cycle as well as nitrogen cycle. Highlight the important points and prepare your own MCQs on these points. Thank you.